is up, people? What is up? What is up? What is up? We're about to get into it. For those of you who are in the corporate toolbox, tomorrow night we start cooking with gas. I go in the how to set up your YouTube business and I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3 levels of how to set this up so you can save a lot of money on your taxes. This is tomorrow, 7 p.m. If you're in the corporate toolbox, go to the webinar section in the corporate toolbox and you can sign up. We're going to start at 7 p.m. sharp. Go ahead and get into it. You know, today was an interesting day. Because I got Mac Daddy Trades got approved today. And that is my trading account. And I did some videos for Savage Finance, gave them to my editors. But do you know when you set up a business to be your trading arm, they make you go through a lot more hoops. They go like essentially with TD Ameritrade, you have to mail in your corporate paperwork, and Coinbase has something that's called Coinbase Prime that allow you to do that online, and then they get back with you. And essentially today, like tomorrow, I'm going to set up my business checking, and I'm going to tell you why I'm setting up my business checking for my trading account at a commercial bank. I'm going to do Wells Fargo, and I'm going to get a Wells Fargo secured credit card for Mac Daddy Trading. I'm going to do all that tomorrow because I figured out how Wells Fargo works. And one of the things that I want to get into and I want to talk about is when you become a corporate citizen, the game changes. Everything changes when you become a corporate citizen. And one of the things is, like, I have an agenda. I want to create 50,000 corporate citizens over the next 5 years. That is my agenda. And I have my assistant doing some research because I'm getting ready to start running ads. Because let's talk about the YouTube business. This is something that most of you could do. And it ain't going to cost you a whole lot of money. Like if you've got a phone, you can be a YouTuber. That's all you need. And this is something that I'm going to run ads on YouTube, how to set this up. Because there's so many people who have no clue that this even exists, that this is even a possibility, that this is even an option on the table. And one of the things that is so funny is there's a lot of people who are resistant to change. But essentially you will start seeing some YouTube ads for the YouTube business, because essentially, let me go ahead and get off into it. Let me let you know what's going on, people. Let me let you know what we are doing here. So I got to whoa, almost picked the wrong thing. All right. So this is the thing that I'm getting ready to start promoting on YouTube. The YouTube Wealth Package. The YouTube Wealth Packages teach you how to start a YouTube channel, manage your money, and how to use a YouTube channel as a massive tax deduction. I need to straighten up that language a little bit better. But what do you get with the YouTube Wealth Package? You get credit mastery. I got more to do that. You get the YouTube course. You get the money management course. And you get wealth habits, the things you need to do to get wealthy. So that's for you folks who don't want to do the corporate toolbox and they may not be in a position to do the corporate toolbox. So that is going down, and this is going to get the first tier of how to set all this stuff up. That's what this is going to get, because we're going to get into some deep, deep stuff. If you have a holding company and a few operating companies, you don't want no one else on the holding company. You can just, essentially, you would set that up when you set up the holding company. If you set it up as a single member entity where only you hold a holding company, essentially that's it. Because essentially the difference between LLCs and Incs in corporations is, as an incorporation, you are a shareholder and you can be the majority shareholder, or in the course of an LLC, you are a member. So if they're not on the corporate paperwork, you don't have to share anything with them. They have to be on the corporate paperwork. I don't know what you need if you want to do business with them. You can create an agreement to do business with them without getting them on your corporate paperwork. That's scripture day. That stuff, I mean, when you start to do stuff, there's a certain group of people who want to learn how to work more efficiently. But most folks, like, let me just go ahead and hip y'all to what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to start probably releasing a Forex video once a week, you know, talking about trading, talking about Forex, because watch what happens to Savage Finance once I start talking to Forex. Watch, it's gonna glow up. It's gonna glow up. Essentially, I've got the Power of 6 productivity course. I got Scripture a Day. Those courses don't sell as well as the Corporate Toolbox or even the YouTube course, or as well as other stuff on Hustlers Kung Fu life skills. So I'm not going to invest a lot of time in something that I know people don't want. My boy David says, sell what people are buying. And I'm getting ready to start selling some Forex. I'm about to start Forexing my booty off, because that's what people are buying. That's what people are buying. Yep, the YouTube Wealth Package is part of the Corporate Toolbox. If you're in the Corporate Toolbox, everything that I'm releasing during these holiday seasons, you're going to get. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. But one of the things I want to talk about, because I was doing the video for Savage Finance, speaking to, you know, there are so many Forex YouTube channels. And there was one guy, he talked about setting up a LLC for his Forex, and that's cool. However, the Internal Revenue Service, let me go ahead and Google this. Let me show y'all. All right, so here we go. Let's get into this. All right. I don't know if y'all can see this. Regulated investment companies do not pay taxes on their earnings. With pass-through income, the company is not required to pay corporate income taxes on profits passed through to the shareholders. The only income taxes imposed is on the individual shareholders. Learn about regulated investment companies. The purpose of utilizing pass-through or flow-through income is to avoid a double taxation scenario. It would be the case if both the investment company and its investors paid taxes on the company-generated income and profits. The concept of pass-through income also is referred to the conduit theory, as the investment company is functioning as a conduit for passing on capital gains, dividends, interest to shareholders. First fact, regulated investment companies do not pay taxes on their earnings. Without the Regulated Investment Company Alliance, both the investment companies and investors will have to pay taxes on the company's capital gains or earnings. With pass-through income, the company is not required to pay corporate income tax on profits passed through the shareholders. The only income tax is imposed on the individual shareholder. To qualify as a regulated investment company, the business has to meet specific parameters. Exist as a corporation or other entity which ordinarily have tax assessed as a corporation. Be registered as an investment company with the Securities and Exchange Commissions. Elect to be deemed as a RIC by Investment Company Act of 1940 as long as its income source and diversification of assets meet specified requirements. Additional, an RIC must derive a minimum of 9% of its income from capital gains, interest, or dividends earned on investments. Further, an RIC must distribute the minimum 90% of its net investment income in the form of interest, dividends, and capital gains to its shareholders. Should the RIC not distribute its share of income, it may be subject to an excise tax by the IRS. Finally, to qualify as a regulated investment company, at least 50% of the company's total assets must be in the form of cash, cash equivalents, or securities. No more than 25% of the company's total assets may be invested in securities of a single issuer unless the company or government securities are the securities of the RIC. So this is the stuff that you got to do to get your investment company regulated so you can get all of these juicy capital gains. Now, I'm going to tell you a way around. Thank you, Tracy. I'm going to tell you a way around this. That's funny. Coastal Designer, thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So essentially, if you set up an LLC as an investment company, there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. However, if you set it up as a holding company, oh man, the game changes a little bit. Because I'm going to go ahead and register Mac Daddy Trades. I'm going to do all of this, fill out all the paperwork and everything, because it's going to take me, essentially, it's going to take me 2 to 3 weeks to get everything set up. Because I got the LLC, I got the EIN. Tomorrow I get the corporate banking. And with the investment company, I'm going to open up 3 different checking accounts. And I'm going to get the secured credit card for Mac Daddy Trades. So thank you, Omega Curry, for the $5 super chat. Gary Edwards, if you are in the United States legally, you can do all this. But, you know, you're going to need to get your citizenship at some point. But this is how the game goes, because essentially, if you go ahead and just form an LLC for your investments, you got to jump through a lot of hoops. You got to register your company with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. You got to do all that. I'm going to do all of that. But one of the things is when you create a holding company structure, because let's go ahead and talk about what's going down tomorrow night. And I want y'all guys to listen to me. A lot of you want to, like, I don't want to show my face. Get over yourself. Here's the gist of what I'm going to be talking about tonight, because I'm going to get into the technical details and things that you have to do, because there's certain things that you have to do if you own the house or if you're renting the house. If you're renting the house, you don't have to do these things. But if you own the house, there's a certain way that you have to set it up to preserve your tax-free status when you sell that house, if you sell that house. So one of the things that we're going to get into is the specific sequence that you have to do. For everyone in the corporate toolbox, you guys are good. You can go to the 3rd tier. You guys are good. But one of the things that I want to talk about is, and this has been talked about by quite a few people, is many business owners do not keep good books. You're going to have to download a set of QuickBooks. This thing, you're going to have to spend some money, because let's say your name is John, and John, you have a job and you are working and you want to start investing in Forex, and you want to come on YouTube and talk about it. So that's qualification for a holding company structure, because you got a holding company, you're going to have a YouTube company, you're going to have Forex. Now, one of the reasons that I am saying that I am like, this is the first thing that I'm doing. I'm gonna get all this set up because it's going to take me some time to get it all set up. But I should get this set up before Christmas. I should have the secured credit card. I should have everything set up before Christmas. Now, this is one of the reasons that you don't want to trade in your name. When you trade in your name, let me go ahead and Google it. All right. This is why you want to set up a company to trade. This is why you don't want to do it in your name. No capital gains. Your claimed capital gains will come off your taxable income, reducing your tax. Your maximal net capital loss in any tax year is $3,000. The IRS limits your net loss to $3,000 for individuals and married couples filing jointly, or $1,500 for married filing separately. How to deduct losses from your taxes: bank rate. This is the main reason that you do not want to trade in your name. This right here. Because let's talk about Forex. In the beginning of Forex, you're going to lose money. And if you're doing it as an individual, you cannot deduct those losses. Once let's say your first year you lose $15,000 in Forex. As a business, that's pretty much it. That's all you can deduct. I mean, as an individual, $3,000, that's it. So let's say you lost $15,000, you get to deduct $3,000. So that's $12,000 that can't be realized. Carl Blank, yes, if you're in Canada and you're a homeowner, just go below and get in the corporate toolbox. I'll break it down tomorrow night. This is fact. I thought I was going to do a licensing deal with this other guy. Then I realized he didn't want to sign anything or set up a separate LLC. He just wants to create stuff for free. Run! Run, jukebox, run. 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 Because essentially when you're doing business with folks who don't want to sign papers, because essentially a contract is just a legal promise, and people don't want to keep their promises. So I would run from that. But essentially that right there, as an individual, you don't want to do trading in your name. You don't want to do crypto trading in your name, because your losses, which will happen as you're a beginner, because I fully expect to lose money as a beginner Forex trader, you cannot deduct those losses. But in a company structure, you have a holding company, you have an operating company number one, operating company number two. Because currently in my current holding company setup, there's Disruptive Asset Holdings, and then there is Cameron, there is Savage Consulting Services, which is the consulting money and the online course money. Cameron Media Arts, which is the YouTube money and the sponsorship money. Mac Daddy Assets, which is the leasing company. And now Mac Daddy Trades, which is the investment arm. And probably in 2021, there's going to be 2 more companies. So I'm going to have an operating company I'm going to have a holding company with 6 operating companies. And each operating company has a specific purpose. Mac Daddy Assets purpose is for deductions. That company is never going to make any money. That company is created and designed to create deductions for the holding company. Gary Edwards, once again, get in the corporate toolbox. I'll break that down tomorrow night. Link is below. One of the things, and I want to speak to you, Gary. This stuff is not rocket science hard, but it's not something that I can just explain to you over a cup of coffee. There's certain things that you have to do. There's a certain sequence that you have to follow to do this stuff. Because this is one of the things, because let's talk about, Darkside brought this up in the last live stream, the hobby loss rule. The Internal Revenue Service has a specific set of requirements, whether you're like most YouTubers, it's a hobby. It's not a real business. They don't have an LLC. They don't keep any books. It's just a hobby. They cannot qualify, because I'm going to teach you in how to lease your house to your business in the YouTube course. I'm going to teach you how to do it correctly where you can get around that hobby loss rule. Because one of the things that's getting ready to happen, 2021 is going to be either a really good year for you or it's going to be a bad year, depending upon the decisions that you make in the next 30 days. Because like I said, you can't deduct this stuff off your tax. I can deduct it off my taxes because I've been doing it all year. But you're not going to be able, this is going to be a strategy for 2021 and for you to get massive tax returns in 2022. Because see, corporate citizens play the long game. Corporate citizens, I would not use FBA paid traffic to sell books on Amazon. I would not do that. I would try to get in the Amazon algorithm. I would not do that. When I was picking my books on Amazon, I got in the algorithm and I was doing like 10,000 a month. I would not use Amazon FBA. I wouldn't do it. I just simply wouldn't do it. Mercy Ave, yes, there's a payment plan. Go below, click the link, and the payment plans will be revealed to you. But one of the things that we're getting ready to do, because let me just explain what I'm getting ready to do. Once I get this course done, I'm going to run paid traffic to this course. And my assistant is working on this today and tomorrow. She's looking for all of the YouTube channels on YouTube that teach people how to be YouTubers. Roberto Blake, Daryl Eves. I'm getting ready to run ads on all the channels. Why? Because anyone who's watching a channel on how to become a better YouTuber is going to be interested in, oh, I can start a YouTube channel and save some money on my taxes? Sign me up. Sign me up. Over Vertical Studios. Also, if you owe back child support, they would come for all your assets in your name as opposed to putting it in your company name to create a layer of protection. I learned that the hard way. Oh, man, if you're a dude and you got these back child support issues, like, all right, I'm about to spill some tea here. I have a friend who got into a situation and he owes like $40,000 in back child support. And I felt sorry for him, so I gave him a little game. I was like, all right, well, so what you need to do is create your corporation. because essentially when you owe back child support, they put that on your credit report. So it was messing up his credit, and he could not keep any money in his bank accounts. You know, he has a bank account, and essentially you create a corporation. You put everything, his car is in his company name. All his money goes through his company, and they can't touch it. They can't touch it because, you know, now he has probably 5 business credit cards. He couldn't even get a credit card because, I mean, or Vertical Studios, back child support is rough. I know someone that had their driver's license suspended, and they were only like 3 months in arrears. They ain't playing with y'all no more. All right. Grind, man, grind. Yeah, this is holiday pricing because everything goes up in the new year. So go ahead and get in now. Because like I said, I'm getting ready to run, I'm going to create this course this week, and I'm going to begin running ads probably next week to the course. And I got to create my ads. I got to create my ads. I got to do all, it's just busy because we're creating this trading company, and I got to go ahead and register that trading company with the SEC. I got to do all that. So it's going to be a lot that's going down, but for you people who are in the corporate toolbox, I'm going to break down these whole processes and everything, because here's the thing. If you're trading with a company and the company loses money, all of those losses are net losses, and those are deductions against earned income. But you're trading in your name because, like I said, you know, I got a video that's I'm probably going to get it to my editors tomorrow night, and it'll probably release Friday. That's what I'm shooting for. Essentially, I'm getting ready to start talking to the Forex crowd, because in the Forex crowd, there's a group of people who are making money. And these folks are paying buku taxes. Buku taxes. Yes, the corporate game is super strong. Super strong. Because essentially what we have going on here is like, the whole thing is you got to create a successful business for this whole thing to work. You're like my friend, he does roofing. And, you know, I schooled him up. I schooled him. He's my partner. I schooled him up, told him how to get more roofing sales and everything. And dude, you know, he's making a lot of money right now. And I do believe he's paid off his back child support. But in the beginning, it was rough. It messed up his credit. His license got suspended. It's just really, really rough when you are in that position. And no one really cares when you're on back child. No one cares. For a lot of people, it's a joke. I was watching the video, and there were some people, they were just laughing at the folks who were not getting the stimulus check. They weren't getting the stimulus check. And they were laughing at these people because it wasn't funny to me. It wasn't funny to me at all. But, you know, if you owe back child support, you can get a stimulus check. I mean, it is really, really rough. And I've talked about that in the past. Things that you need to do so you can put yourself in a good situation. I don't think anyone, like I had a few people who bought the one and done, but no, I haven't had a chance to do the audits. Marcus C., have you paid up in full? Are you ready for your 2 consults? Because one of the things is, like, if you've paid, send me an email. That will be helpful. If you've paid up in full, and I can go ahead and research it, and you've paid up in full, then we can set your consults up. Gary Edwards, your kids need to be 18. You cannot set up a legal business entity for a minor. They need to be 18. Now, this is what's interesting. You can create a corporation and register it in your name and put them on as members. You can do that, but to originally start it off, you cannot start it off in their name. Child support seems like the most lower friend a person can ask for. Neverly, got you for 18 years, man. 18 years. I had a friend that was on child support, and his ex tried to have him arrested when he wasn't even late. And they were like, he ain't late. We're not going to put this man in jail because you're mad at him. She was evil. She was evil. My buddy has been wiped out behind child support, including child support, job, unemployment. His ex slept with a dirty cop to set him up. I mean, essentially, for my men on child support, y'all need to be working on becoming corporate citizens, because you can go ahead and, because, while you're going through that rough part, and you're going to have to work hard and get you a business going. I know a lot of people want to spend all of their free time with their children, but there's a time that you have to grind, and you just can't be around your children. I mean, look at these immigrants. These immigrants leave their children in Haiti, Africa, South America, and they come here and work for a few years. They don't see their children for a few years because they grinding and they building something for their children. So, this is the thing. But we're about to get into a lot of corporate game. We're going to get into a lot of corporate citizen stuff. We're going to get into a whole bunch of things, because I'm telling you, when I started running paid traffic to that Yucca, how to rent stripper mumping. All right, Gary, I'm going to indulge you. If I knew a girl that was a stripper, this is what I would tell her to do. I would tell her to create a holding company, okay? I would tell her to strip, and I would tell her to start a YouTube channel about stripping, okay? And essentially, what she would be able to do is write off a lot of stuff for being a stripper. She get her nails done, that's a business expense. She get a pedicure, that's a business expense. She get weave, that's a business, because that goes into the classification of costumes, which she must put on for work. So, rinsing stripper money is pretty easy. Child support is 21 years in New York State if your child chooses to go to college. Good Lord. The holding company can prevent them from taking your money. But it's not, because if you're still in child support, you still got the issues with your license and these other issues that you can have. So the best thing to do is catch up. No, I don't teach about, I don't know anything about how to get corporate leases for Airbnb. Essentially, what you got to do is just go to enough people who own properties and ask them if they're cool if you're leasing out their property to use for Airbnb. I mean, that's essentially it. A lot of people are going to say no. And a lot of people like, hey, I'm going to do Airbnb. I ain't going to rent it out to you to do Airbnb. I'm going to do Airbnb. Yep, the immigrant journey is like no other. Lived it with my parents. I mean, I understand that a lot of you want to be with your kids. And this was one of my issues with Pat Flynn, because Pat Flynn acted like he had to be around his kids 24/7. And I mean, if you spend 2 to 3 hours an evening with your children, that's plenty. That's plenty. Men got to go to work. Okay? Men got to go to work. And yeah, with immigrants, like I worked with this woman who was a nurse who came from Africa, and she was here in Africa. She was working like 3 jobs. She was a nurse working 3 jobs, and she got enough money to pay cash for a house. And once she got that house, then she brought her kids over here. I think that's how Future got his child support down by saying he owns no jewelry and lives in this 2-bedroom home. Well, one of the things is a lot of rappers don't make as much money as you think they do. A lot of them don't. But one of the things is, like, you know, with my child support case, I went to court and fought it and got my child support case dismissed, you know. It's the quality, not the quantity of the time that matters, because look at all these immigrant kids. How many of these immigrant kids are bad kids or gangbangers and stuff? Not that many. Thanks for the $5 super chat. All right, I will review that tomorrow, because after this live stream, I'm going to be off. But essentially, you know, with being a corporate citizen and doing trading, you don't want to trade in your name. You just don't want to trade in your name. And I feel that I'm going to bring a new perspective to the Forex conversation here on YouTube, because I got the corporate mindset. And I don't even know anything about Forex yet. Like, I'm taking this course about Forex. It's a free course on YouTube. And one of the things that I've learned is, you know, pairs. I actually know what a pip is now. So it's been very helpful. Yeah, I know many earn less than $250K after they owe to the company. Hey, there's so many ways to skin a cat, man. Jamaicans are famous for holding down multiple jobs while building up wealth back home. Yep. Yeah, because essentially, we're going to be getting into the nitty gritty and the details of how to set these things up. And also, we're going to talk about things. We're going to talk about business, because let's talk about the YouTube business. You can set up you can set up a holding company for the corporate citizens. And I got to create like 3 different levels for this, because a lot of people are not going to get into the corporate citizen, and I'm not going to give them all of the corporate game in the YouTube course. So I would just give them a discount if they wanted to level up and get the full holding company knowledge. But this is something that you can do. Essentially, you're going to have to create create an LLC. You're going to have to actually create a YouTube channel, and you're actually going to have to create videos. Now, here's the thing that's so good about this YouTube business. This YouTube business can make no money for 2 to 3 years and get you massive deductions off your taxes. Let me say that again. You can have this YouTube business and it doesn't make any money for 2 to 3 years, but it saves you money off your earned income from your money taken out of your job, out of your paycheck. Oh yeah, Forex is going to be interesting. There are many Western Union pappies in the U.S. sending money back to the home country. Oh, big time. So long as the company is registered in the U.S., do you think a U.S. citizen living abroad? Absolutely. Because see, the art of becoming more, as a U.S. citizen, regardless of wherever you in the world, you need to pay U.S. taxes. So yeah, as long as your corporation is registered here, you can get away with that. You can be in France, you can be in the UK, you can still use this strategy because you're a U.S. citizen. And because the U.S. citizen, wherever you're in the world, the U.S. citizen stretches that long legal arm and digs into your pockets, you can play the game living in Dubai. Yep. My boss wants to sell me his business, but my business partner says it's overvalued. Should I buy and rebrand and be in debt, or just well, once again, Gary Edwards, like, you need to book a consult, because this whole question requires me asking, what is the business? How much experience you have? that's not something that I can answer off the cuff without more information. So you need to book a consult. The trading company strategy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because see, you are a U.S. citizen. You have a U.S. passport. Regardless of where you are in the world, you're supposed to be paying U.S. taxes. One of the best quotes I heard on productive is make rest a necessity, not a need. Jim Rohn, 2 days off a month on average is enough for the 9-5 and weekend word grind. Hey, you gotta grind to shine, man. You gotta grind to shine. A lot of music artists are very bad with their money. Oh, the art of becoming more like if you are a U.S. citizen, like regardless if you live in the United States or not, you're supposed to pay U.S. taxes wherever you are in the world because you're a U.S. citizen. And there's on this the nomadic capitalists, I think that's his YouTube channel. These people have renounced their U.S. citizenship because they didn't want to pay taxes. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm not renouncing my citizenship. There's other ways to do this. Daryl Maple, get into the YouTube course. And I'm going to elaborate and I'm going to talk about that tomorrow night, 7 p.m. live webinar. You can ask questions. I will elaborate there. Because, you know, many people talk about, you know, the hobby loss rule. Amazon FBA didn't make any money for 8 years. They didn't make any money for 8 years. People kill me with like, well, you gotta make some money. You gotta make. No, you don't. You can like essentially. Let me just go ahead and give you the game. Mac Daddy Assets is never going to make any money. Its job isn't to make money. Its job is to create deductions and net losses. It's never going to make any money. But because it is connected to Disruptive Asset Holdings, which has Savage Consulting Services, which has Cameron Media Arts, which now has Mac Daddy Assets, which now has Mac Daddy Trades. I have 2 operating companies that make money. But Mac Daddy Assets is never going to make money. Let me go ahead and give you the game. Like essentially, I am putting the Porsche and BMW in Mac Daddy Assets, and I am leasing them to Cameron Media Arts for about $6,000 a month. And that's going to create a $6,000 per month deduction for my taxes. Now, I can only do that so long because I can only take deductions for the cost. Because see, I just bought these cars. I spent over $200K. So I can take $200K in deductions. Now, what I'm going to have to do after that, I'm going to have to go out and get some more cars to lease. That's what I got to do, because once I exhaust the capital investment, at that point, I start making a profit. But Mac Daddy Assets isn't designed to make a profit. So y'all may see me in a Rolls Royce. You may see me up in a Bentley in 2 years or 3 years. You might. You just might. The nomad capitalists will have you buying your citizenship for $500K in Turkey just to get away from U.S. tax. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Rod for real estate. Hey, I am not renouncing my U.S. citizenship. I am not doing that. Business to business transaction of Mac Daddy Assets to the other company. Absolutely. See, this is the power of being a corporate citizen. You can do what you want. It is 100% legal and liable that I can set up a leasing company in my corporate structure to lease out assets to my other companies and get a deduction. Crazy, ain't it? Saying it out loud. The webinar is for tomorrow, and it's like, so that's what it's going to be. You got to be in the current YouTube course to have access to the webinar, because I did some stuff a few years ago, so I'm not really doing that. Industry pundits ridiculed Amazon for years. They swore that Bezel was a worthless moronic dunce, and that Amazon ain't. Like I said, Douglas Jones, I remember that. People were clowning Amazon. Now Amazon is the darling. Pretty much. Amazon would disappear by 2003. Oops. Well, we will see. I'm not trying to play that game. I mean, they went crazy. Yep, I will go into more detail in the corporate toolbox about leasing, creating a leasing company in the corporate toolbox. That's probably going to be one of my live trainings that I'm going to do. Leasing liabilities to other companies, that info alone is worth the money you spend on the corporate. Yeah, because like I said, you know, just watch what's going to happen to Savage Finance once I start talking about Forex. But I'm going to be talking about Forex in a lane, like my goal is to do what Kevin Samuels did for relationships. There's a bunch of relationship channels on YouTube, but Kevin Samuels came up with a proper presentation, suited and booted, and he's winning. He's winning. And I'm going to go into the Forex sphere. And this is one of the things. There's so many people who are trading Forex who have no idea that this stuff is even on the table. They have no clue. And I'm going to give them. Good Lord. ASCAP only pays writers 2 times a year. That sucks. Actually, I'm not going to mess with commercial real estate. I'm going to be in residential real estate. I may eventually get some apartment buildings. That may be the deal. Earl Nightingale, lead the field. That's the course. What up? The only mistake Jeff made was no prenup. Pretty much. I did not know. When Kevin Samuels makes a class, he's going to be I mean, pretty much. Kevin's probably doing $20,000, $25,000 a month, just YouTube money. Just YouTube money. Yes, Demont Balal, whether you are a business owner or you have a job, if you're paying taxes, the YouTube strategy will work for you. It will definitely work for you, because essentially this is what we're going to be talking about in the corporate toolbox in the next coming months. I'm going to talk, like, I need to do this. I'm doing this training tomorrow night live, where if you've got questions, you can ask. And I'm going to break it down in 3 different layers, because like if you're leasing a house or you're renting a house, this is easy. But if you don't do it a certain way, and like say you own the house and you're paying the mortgage, okay? If you go ahead and take those deductions, that you may actually trigger where you will have to make capital gains tax on the appreciation of your house, if there's any appreciation. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. I'm not doing anything in Hustlers Kung Fu right now. You know, maybe next year, but right now everything is in B School for Hustlers. I thought just having, once you become you know, the only limits you guys have is your imagination. You can do what you want with a holding company. And next year, when we get into trust, because see, I'm giving you guys foundational educational stuff right now. And next year, we're going to get into trust. And trust is a whole different game. It's a whole different game. But first, you got to create the holding company. Then you got to create the operating companies. Then you got to create the cash flow. Then you got to create the wealth. And then once you start creating that, then we can get into trust. Kids is very polarized, and that's a highly effective strategy. Pretty much, it's working for him. It is working 100% for him. Digital hustler, how do I move stocks from personal to corporate? First of all, you got to create a corporate company. You got to create a company. Damn, Pittsburgh lost tonight. There goes that undefeated season. But essentially, I'm going to do some special trainings. Let me see. I'm going to have to write this down, but I'm going to have to do, because in the corporate toolbox, I'm going to do how to set up, like once I go through the process, because I got to register Mac Daddy trades with the SEC. Like, you know, that LLC slid through some reasons, and I got my EIN. Tomorrow I'm going to have my corporate banking. Then I got to register with the SEC. Then I'm probably going to do TD American trades. I may do E-Trades. I got my thing going on with Coinbase because that's where I'm going to buy my cryptos. So we're looking at like a 2-week process just getting stuff set up. And then I'm going to get a corporate card for Mac Daddy trades. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's got to go on. What y'all don't know is Uncle G's going to be making money off these concepts for a long time, Black Dave Ramsey. Because, it's funny you say that, Kevin Davis. I got a video because I wanted to come out this week to the Forex traders because there's no one's talking about this. And there are some Forex traders making some pretty long money and no one's talking about this. Yeah, we're going to get into trust and everything. All right, Kevin. Steelers my team, but they had a few near misses because when that dude missed the field goal and they won, Ben was like, "Wow, we won this game." It's kind of crazy. I realize how good trusts were when reels are so cheap because attorneys make their money in probate when you only have a will. Yeah, because a trust is a way that can get around probate. We're going to talk about a lot of that stuff. Gary Edwards, if you take your off the book income, money that's not taxed, and funnel it through an LLC, you're going to expose that money to taxation. You know that, right? You know that. I'm just saying. Just saying. Yes, you can create a business account without an NASC code. They are becoming more, man, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Like I said, in about 2 years, once I exhaust all these deductions, y'all may see me up in a Bentley. Y'all may see me in a Bentley. Buy Bitcoin from Cash App easier and faster. I'll have to look into that. Digital hustler. Do I need a corporate security lawyer? I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing? What was your first big cash purchase as a getting out the boarding house? It came a few years later. The first big cash purchase was a brand new BMW 540. And that's when I was at Business Environments. That was the first big cash purchase. And that came almost about 2 years after getting out the boarding house. Oh, see, this is the thing. The devil's in the details. And this is one of the things you're going to get in the corporate toolbox. I'm going to teach you guys how to do it correctly. I'm going to teach you how to do it right. private versus public legal status immediately determines your mental competence and who has jurisdiction over you and your affairs. Hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Oh yeah, I'm going to discuss all this stuff in the corporate toolbox. I'm going to go through all of the steps and stuff I took to create this trading company, because I'm going to create it correctly. Because see, this is the whole thing, and this is how the corporate citizen stuff works. You have to do it correctly. You can't half step. You got to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. You cannot mess around with this stuff. I wish my fam knew about putting my house in the trust. Probate. I was dating this chick, and I actually had to talk to her attorney because they were just bleeding her, because her dad died and left her about $500,000 between a house, about like $300K in cash between a retirement account and some other stuff. And, you know, they were just bleeding her. And I was like, look, you need to write this letter to the attorney, because they just taking your money. They just taking your money. I mean, it was crazy what they were doing to her. It was insane. It was crazy what was going on. What they were doing to her, essentially, I call it probate rape. I mean, that's the crazy thing that they were doing to her. But we're going to get into how to set up a legal trading company, register with the SEC, do all this, because there's some other few steps that you have to do. And I'm going to do these for MacDaddy Trades, because MacDaddy assets, because, you know, all of this stuff, like as capital investments, I'm going to put this microphone in. I'm going to put these cameras, this computer, and I'm going to lease all this stuff to the YouTube company. Now, why am I doing that? Because my YouTube money is between $6,000 and $10,000 per month. And that money goes up to the holding company and is currently being taxed. It will not be taxed, because essentially what Cameron Media Arts is going to do is take that YouTube payment, and they're going to make a lease payment to MacDaddy assets, and I'm going to slide that money in my pocket. Probate is very slow. It is ridiculously slow. Well, I'm probably going to get into Ethereum and some other stuff. So I'm going to set up with Coinbase. I'll have to look into all this other stuff. Let me see. How much money do I have in Cash App right now? Let me see. Y'all got me curious. Cash App. Oh. They only let you buy $100 a week of Bitcoin. They ain't a lot. Can y'all detail what you mean by public or private legal status? LS Cherry, let me give you the example of child support. Let's say you have a situation where you have a company. Let's say 5 years prior, you were messing around with this chick. She got pregnant and she didn't tell you that she was pregnant. And then 5 years later, you go to your bank account and your money's gone because she went to court and they sent a service notice to your old address where you no longer live, and all your money in your personal accounts is gone. That's the power of being public. Now, let's say you also have a corporation, and since child support orders come in your name, they don't come in a corporate name, they come in your name, then your corporate money is untouched. So that's to give you in a quick synopsis, because essentially when you have corporate assets and corporate entities, they can protect you from things like child support. They can protect you from lawsuits. Like, let's say you did something stupid. Now, be careful here, because if you get sued, whatever you own is on the table. But if you have, like, essentially, I have I have disruptive asset holdings, and I have 4 operating accounts. And next year, I'm probably going to have 2 more operating companies. The more layers that you put up, the harder it is to get at you, man. All right, all right. You bought some Bitcoin this morning. Ethereum, Coinbase has a lot of restrictions. It's annoying. Like, once again, like, I'm not, I will find this out, but I'm going to sign up for the business account, and we will see. Because essentially my Cash App is in my name, and I'm going to have to find out, is there a way that you can create a business Cash App? Change account type. Cash for business, accepting payments for is still free to send. All right. So you can set up a business Cash App. I'm going to get some Ethereum. I'm probably going to look at, because I got to study the crypto market. Because the only thing that I kind of halfway know anything about is Bitcoin, and there's so much more to it. Cash App Stop did a split. I did not know that. Yeah, I know Square. I used to have a Square account. So let's see. What is Bitcoin today? Oh, it's still, and it has not crossed over the 20K. It hasn't even reached its all-time. I think it reached its all-time high. I'm not sure. But essentially, let's go ahead and talk about Mac Daddy trades. Let's say I buy some crypto and crypto crashes, right? And I sell my crypto, because once I sell it, I realize what's called a loss. This creates a scenario where I can use those losses to offset my gains. Do I have a reason to hold on? Yeah! Anything that is created when you are married is the product of the marriage. Yeah, you want to go ahead and get divorced first before you start that business. Yeah, you want to do that. Because let's say your business, let's say you create this business while you're married. And 5 years down the road, your business blows up and your wife comes for that. She can, because the product, the business was created when you were married, even though she had nothing to do with it. I just saw a limit. I'll have to check Cash App. It's called Coinbase Prime. It's a business account. This is what I use my spare rooms. Like, my assistant works in one of the spare rooms. It's an office. Cash App is not available in the United Immigrants. I did not know that. Coinbase sneaky sometimes. We will find out. Yeah, I just found that out, Digital Hustler. Milton Martinez, thanks for $5 super chat. Yeah, I've got some Bitcoin Cash. It happened when I had my Bitcoin. I didn't realize that I had it until I looked in my Coinbase account. Yeah, man. Essentially, this is why you got to have this corporate structure, because you can only take so many losses as an individual. You can only deduct $3,000 in losses. But if this is done in the conduction of a business, all of those losses are available as deductions. You start a holding company first, LS Cherry. All right. So that's it. For those of you who want to learn the intimate details of how to lease your house to a business, the live training is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. You have to be a member of the Corporate Toolbox, or you can get into the YouTube course and you will be able to get into this webinar. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. You have a good night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.